come together to create sick guitar tone.
Okay, so we're here in Nashville, Tennessee, and I've got something planned today that I'm really excited about. A few weeks ago, my good friend Tyler Bryant reached out to me and told me that his wife, Rebecca Lovell from Larkin Poe, was looking for a new pedal board and wanted to know my thoughts on a few pedals. So one thing led to another, we had some conversations, and then we decided, well, why don't we do a rig build video for Rebecca's new rig while I'm in town. So long story short, Tyler got us hooked up with XTS here in Nashville. They're a really popular rig building company. They build rigs for everybody, including some of like the biggest touring acts like Carrie Underwood and Taylor Swift. And they built Tyler's board for him a few years ago. So as part of this rig build, we got in touch with Line6, we got in touch with Strymon and with Dunlop, and they all provided some gear for Rebecca's rig. I'll have affiliate links in the description box down below if you're interested in checking out any of the pedals that she's using. You can find more information there, and if you buy something through that, I earn a small commission, which really helps me out in running this channel, so thank you. With that, we are almost to XTS, so we'll check in just a second. Okay, so we're down here at XTS. This is Barry, owner and operator, correct?
No. In fact, Greg, come here.
Owner.
Oh, you're the owner.
He's the owner, and I'm the operator.
That's right.
Nice. Tell me about XTS.
Well, Greg started the company 06.
06.
Is that right?
Yep.
And he was building pedals.
End of 2010, kind of toyed with the idea of opening up a rig building systems integration shop here in Nashville.
Here we build pedals. We do systems integration, which is the fancy word we use for it, which is everything from putting a couple pedals down onto a board or complete, like large scale, what I would call scary size rigs. And so we kind of specialize in the hard cases, the stuff that's really tied into production, into playback, into audio world.
I think we're gonna kind of focus on that today because with Rebecca's rig that we're about to put together, she has a little bit of that.
Yeah.
That sort of systems integration happening. What's cool about this is it's a very specific use case. They have a very specific set of needs and how they want to run. And this started off as a typical like, hey, let's just, what do you want to use? What do you want to put on the board? And then it changed once Larkin Poe's front of house engineer got involved. Mm-hmm. And then things sort of went awry from there.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's so slick, it hurts.
There's that, yeah. And then the Sub Machine.
Okay, so Rebecca's here. We're about to jump in on this board, but before we do, let's do a quick rundown of what we want to do and what your requirements are for this rig.
Requirements makes me sound like a
your
tyrant.
requests.
So we have determined in the last 15 years of touring, I've discovered that I am not a pedal board tap dancer, and also I am a historically very clumsy individual. So we wanted to create a scenario in which I can have mini presets with easy clickable buttons with big boots, and that will hopefully be indestructible because I have heavy boots. And it seems that we have come upon a beautiful solution for this with the help of these brilliant individuals. We're introducing some new things that I've never tried before. This feels like one of my first like full-blown rigs, so I'm so excited.
So Barry, what do we got going on here?
So I think the linchpin decision was the HX Effects, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sort of committing to that and saying that's sort of the sun that everything, these are all planets orbiting around it. For you, it seems like the perfect fit because we can put a couple drives in loops, and then you can have presettable control over those things so that you can go from a clean sound to a dirty sound to a lead sound with these pedals and not have to do the tap dance thing.
Bingo. This is my first time using this, actually. Tyler took me over to Dunlop, and Joey O was so kind in hosting us and letting us try some stuff, and this just feels like a fun party moment in the show that you could just have wild and crazy improv, like you say. And then this is just sweetening, probably being able to have a little bit more control over some saturation for the amp and just being able to have your hands on some buttons and knobs, like you're saying, outside of the HX Effects.
That is one of my favorite pedals.
The
ever.
Deco?
Yes. It's
Mine
good.
too.
It's
I
so
love
good.
it. I think it sounds so great. And like you're saying, everything's compromises, you know. So whenever you lock yourself into something like this, when you were pitching this pedal to me, because I wasn't particularly aware of like using this as an option, I'd never seriously considered. But the fact that you can preload everything on, like you were mentioning, on a computer, like you have a software interface, and that to me is very attractive, because if this were for some reason to go down in your show, you know, you could always have a spare traveling with you and have everything set up. You're able to just interchange the whole piece
Yeah, it's like
as
a shadow.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if for whatever reason your spare went down, you are guitar center away from having your rig
Exactly.
back together.
Yeah.
That to me is very attractive. It feels like a good balance between being locked in, but also locking into something that you know you can very easily replace with one piece of gear. We're running wireless pretty much every show, and we are running ears every show. And so part of, I think, the inclusion of the Iridium is going to be really helpful for our ear situation. Can you explain how everything is running through this beautiful
Sure.
custom piece of
Yeah, so this is
magic?
just an interface box, which is taking Guitar World and translating it into, the outboard world. And so what this one does, they're using a mult system that runs over EtherCon cables, so RJ45 cables, so you can put 4 balanced signals on an RJ45. One of those signals is Rebecca's vocal mic, so oddly enough, her vocal mic plugs into her guitar rig interface.
Oh, that's cool.
And then immediately turns around. This balance line, and this balance line are also all available here. Now, we could have just put that connector on there, but then what do you do if you get in the studio and you'd like to use your board?
Right.
All right, so where are we at in the process currently?
We are putting some cables together here. Got a bunch of stuff run, and we're just terminating some ends here.
And you're using the SP500 square plugs.
We are.
What cable are you guys using?
This is Megami, a couple kinds, 2319 and 2528.
Do you have any quick soldering tips for making your own cables in the shop
Well,
for the people?
just do it a lot of times, and then you'll get good at it eventually. I think the most important thing is have a good iron. Because if you have one of those little red ones that you bought from Home Depot, like I did in high school, you're gonna have a bad time.
Are you guys testing the cables too before you go up, or are you just gonna put them all together and then?
I've made so many thousands. I can kind of tell if they're gonna work at this point. But we'll give the whole board a very thorough rundown once we finish.
What is your worst DOA or just failure in a show?
Man, so I've got 2, and one was in Milwaukee. We were opening up for AC/DC.
Oh no.
I heard our tech go out there, hit a chord, everything worked. Somehow between him hitting the chord and handing me the guitar, something stopped. So I go out, jacked up, hit the first chord, nothing. Tech comes out, wiggles a cable, little bit of something, nothing. And so this is before I had you guys build me a board.
Thank God.
I didn't know what to do, so I just pulled the loom out, plugged one of the cables from the loom into my guitar, and then ran to the back to the Marshall and pulled. I was pulling the loom. I'm destroying the rig. In front of like 30,000 people in an arena. And so I couldn't get, the loom was so heavy, I couldn't get it to stay in my guitar. Just the weight kept pulling it out of the jack. So I've dimed the Marshall, so I ended up wrapping the loom around my neck to keep it from pulling out of the guitar. And I'm playing the show. It was nuts. And then the second story, the same exact thing happened. We were playing a brand new song, and I'd asked my tech, hey, whenever we play this song, can you just go out and like take a video of it so I can hear how it sounds after the show? So this happened, and I'm looking for my tech, and I see his face, and he's in the crowd holding a camera up.
He's in the crowd.
So of course, because if your sweetheart makes you a custom Habibi pedal, you don't not have it on your board. And so Tyler, you want to tell the people about your TV drive?
Yep. So this is the Me drive. No, I'm just kidding. This is a pedal that it's just a double overdrive. You can stack 2 channels. There's 3 gain stages. There's an extra gain stage which goes to this side, whatever the red channel is, and yeah, you can have more sustain than God intended you to.
Then we went over to Dunlop. Joey got us this little mini Sugar Drive, which is actually one of 6 that they made that was gold, and so he was very sweet to let me carry this baby for the board. And it sounds really cool. This is gonna be a party. I cannot wait. I played this for the first time just a couple of days ago over at Dunlop, and I've never had an octave pedal on my board, but I'm really excited. It's got this really cool workable fuzz, sub-fatty, like, killer thing that I can't wait to play around with. Huge Strymon fan. I've given them way too much of my money over the years, but happily. This guy, it's very subtle. I know folks have got it, they probably know how it sounds. It can be used, I kind of use it sometimes as a boost for the tape saturation. And then this is like the doubling effect that's just kind of got a cool warbly tapey thing. First time having this guy, and again on the recommendation of Rhett et al. And it's just awesome. I love the fact that we have built 2 levels such that if I have this in my green room before a show, I can just plug a headphone right in and have, I don't have to have my laptop out or anything to try and like get an amp simulation through Logic or whatever to practice. You can just literally plug right in and have it be rocking. So what is it? It's supposed to be a deluxe, AC30,
and then a Plexi, I think is
and
the
a Plexi. And they all are, they're so fun. They're radically different. That's what I thought was really impressive when you plug into it. Even just like messing around with it for 5 seconds, you really hear the difference, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's very inspiring. And then, of course, the beast mode of the pedal board is the HX Effects. I am already such a fan of. I'm so excited to be able to just tap on a button and have multiple things happen. Because as the frontman for Larkin Poe and the lead singer, I'm either like trying to drink in between or like talk to people, and so very rarely, it's not, the pacing of our show isn't such that I'm like a shoegazer getting down and messing with effects in between songs. I didn't come as a guitar player to the guitar. I came to the guitar to use it as a songwriting tool. And so it's only honestly been in the last 4 or 5 years that I've really started viewing myself as a guitar player and trying to like grow into that role. But I think having something like this, such an effective tool that is inspiring and like indestructible and beautiful, it's like a perfect fake it till you make it thing to help me continue to pioneer into my rock god guitardom. Let's go. Okay, cool. Look at my guitar.
So
Okay.
where it will get tricky, whenever you sit down to address the board, you'll kind of have to make the call, what am I doing today? Am I building sounds, or am I, because then if you were just going to sit down and jam and woodshed, I'd probably just stay there.
What is everyone's opinion on when you have all of your pedals kicked off? Do you need to build your pedal tone, your pedal volume close to your clean signal? How true do you guys play that? Because I think maybe I can be a little bit too anal about trying to have everything be gain staged appropriately.
It's good. I think it's good to have them close.
True, right? Ish? I mean...
The other thing to remember is when you step this effect on, it's probably a moment when you want a little lift.
That's true.
So the
With
fact
this one particularly.
It being up.
Let's give it a dollop
Yeah.
of daisy, shall we? Hey, Rhett, what's your favorite way to set up the deco? I would love to see, how do you handle your this side of things?
Well, let's see. Blending, depending on how much more or
Right.
less slap you want. You know, more slap is there, less slap, more saturation there. But I typically switch between like the sum and invert modes.
Yeah, same.
I live between there, and that's basically it.
That sounds so nice.
Okay, so huge thanks to Barry and the guys over at XTS. I think that went really well, and Rebecca's rig, I think it's perfect for her. And in fact, it's actually got me thinking about taking my small HX Effects fly rig that I built myself a few years ago and kind of reworking it a little bit, because those guys were turning me on to some things about the HX Effects that I actually didn't really consider or know about. So yeah, and once again, I want to give a shout out to Line6 and Strymon. They did provide the Iridium and the HX Effects to Rebecca for the rig for free, so huge thanks to them for that. In the description box below, I'll have links to all of the pedals and the gear that she was using, as well as links to XTS if you want to get in touch with them to have them build your next rig. That'll all be in the description box down below, and those pedal links will be affiliate links, which means if you buy something through there, I earn a small commission, which really helps me out. And also check out Tyler's signature drive. That thing's really sick. So huge thanks to Rebecca and Tyler for kind of giving us the idea to put this whole thing together. I'll have Larkin Poe stuff linked down below, as well as Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown, all their new music and their tour dates. Both of them are starting to get on the road now again full time, so check them out down below. And thanks for watching. I'm Rhett, Shull, and remember, there is no plan B.